Hello, everyone. Welcome back. Welcome to another Kate Krieg Deeply Connected session. It's lovely to be here again. Hopefully it's not too loud. There's some loud noises going on outside, but hopefully you can actually hear me. Today, I wanted to talk to you about one of my favorite topics, to be honest. It is on the topic of creating a connection of self-awareness and being able to really deeply understand who you are to better make quality decisions, and also decisions that are in line with who you really want to be. And also the benefits of self-awareness are just, honestly, there is a huge long list. It can improve your confidence, your satisfaction, make you more happy, have increased empathy for other people, improve your self-control, stop binge eating, stop emotionally drinking. There's so many things that a connection back to yourself, this self-awareness, can actually do for your health, happiness, and overall life fulfillment. So what's really interesting is that some research shows that 99% of people feel that they are self-aware, which is interesting because what is actually shown is that only 10 to 15% actually do possess the level of self-awareness that enables you to achieve these outcomes. So a really small percentage of people are actually self-aware, even though most of them, 99% of people, think that they actually are self-aware, that they do possess those skills. So what is self-awareness? It's really an ability to connect back to yourself and to listen in and to be able to take your mind from being reactive and impulsive to reflective and thoughtful, and to be able to analyze the different areas of your life that are causing you to act and behave in ways that are potentially conflicting for you to be able to achieve the results that you want in your life. So let's say that you want to, stop. Well, actually, I'll give you an example of my life. So for those of you who may or may not know, I lost 30 kilos by changing my habits and my mindset. And one of the things that I wanted to do is I found that when I got home at nighttime, I was always heading to the fridge for cheese and wine. And the very first step that I celebrate is this awareness. Wow, fantastic. I already recognize that this is one of the habits that I want to improve. A lot of people are sort of looking backwards and going, oh gosh, I wish I'd improved that habit back there. But actually being able to catch yourself either in the moment or before you actually undertake the action is a beautiful act of self-awareness. And that's where the power is, right? So this is one of the things I wanted to do, is improve my diet. And so what I did is I thought, well, what is it that I'm wanting to achieve? What am I actually doing by eating and drinking? Well, for me, it was suppressing an emotion of stress, because I was coming home from my corporate job. I was very stressed. There was lots going on and I wasn't feeling very good. And as a result, I was turning to alcohol and food rather than actually dealing with the emotion that I had. In my case, it was stress. So what I did instead is I thought, well, I actually want to be the type of person who moves their body and can de-stress in other ways other than eating and drinking, because that is impacting my identity that I want to have. And it's not helping me with my stress at all. In fact, it's just creating more and more of a feedback loop in my brain because of the dopamine that's released, not only with stress, but also through eating in response to that. And it's basically hardwiring this habit. And I want to break the circuit, right? I want to break that. So what I ended up doing is going for a walk and de-stressing by being able to talk to my amazing husband, Ben, on my walk. And our little plan was, when we're walking, it'll be our time together and we can communicate about stresses and work and other things, but we wouldn't continue to talk about it when we got back home. So that was our little plan that we had. Yes, you can talk about it, but you can't talk about it until we are, when we get home. So one of the ways that I was able to lose my weight is because I was aware of the actions in my life that were causing me to not be the person I wanted to be, be overweight, or be the person who didn't move, or be the person who couldn't manage their stress, or be the person who was acting and behaving in ways that weren't enabling me to fulfill this, version of myself. And so this is what I encourage you to consider is, what are the triggers in your life? What are the triggers? And this self-awareness, so being able to go, okay, hang on a minute, let me just contemplate here. What is happening in my life and what's causing that? Now, we're not looking to blame external circumstances. We're not looking to rationalize externally. We're looking to internalize a solution, internalize how we can make things different. So what we want is insight. So think of something in your life that you want to improve, and think about, so what's the one thing that I want to improve? What do I really want to improve? And let's say it's, I want to stop yelling or feeling emotional when I have someone email me at work. Could be anything, right? You'd want to be thinking, what is the trigger? What's the trigger? And is it an event? And what thoughts am I thinking? Because those two things cause a emotional response in us, and that emotional response in us causes us to act and behave in certain ways. So my trigger was an emotion. It was stress fueled by my corporate environment. I was stressed, which led me to damaging thoughts, which then led me to feeling pretty bad about myself. And as a result, I started to act and behave, drinking and eating, in certain ways that were not in line with the identity that I wanted to have. Instead, it was not enabling me. It was making me a lot worse. So think about, for you, what is it in your life, and what are some of the triggers? What's the event? What's the feelings, emotions, thoughts that you're having in response, and how are you responding to that? How are you acting and behaving in response to that? And is that in line with who you really want to be? So all of this comes from being able to develop that beautiful skill of self-awareness. And I honestly know that in pretty much all of my coaching conversations, these are some of the topics that when you apply it to your own scenario, a lot of people are surprised at how much they didn't know about themselves, or how much they're just rushing through their days and they're disconnected from some of those big ticket items that are stopping them from achieving. And it could be to do with weight. I use that example because it's top of my mind and it's relevant and meaningful for me. But it could be you getting a promotion and you wanting to, I'm just actually thinking of a client who wanted just this, and I was coaching her through her confidence levels and her wanting to get a promotion and also leave the company she was in. And we had this conversation of, well, what is actually going on in your life here, and how are you acting and behaving that are in line with the person who wants the promotion, and how you're acting and behaving in line with the person who doesn't. Now, all of this came from the first step. She ended up getting a promotion, going to a whole new place, and it's a fantastic story. But the very first step was building an awareness. And this is where most people are not, that's the step most people are not doing. We're not building this deep level of self-awareness, which is what the research is showing. 10 to 15% of people are actually self-aware, where 99% of us think we actually are self-aware. So I want you to try and develop this skill of just being consciously considering how you're acting and behaving in your life, and what's triggering that, an event or a thought, and then what you could be doing instead that will actually enable you and lead you towards where you want to go. I just want to leave you with one other very powerful tool, and that is what I call the power of the pause. And it's really about helping you become self-aware through engaging a different part of your brain. So a lot of the times when people are telling me that certain things are happening in their life that are conflicting with who they want to be, it's because they've got this impulsive or reactive mind that is causing them to act and behave in ways that they don't want. And that impulsive brain, I'm sure you're probably very familiar with it when you think, let's say you've said, I don't want to be drinking alcohol for the week, and then something happens, you get the stress, and all of a sudden you find yourself halfway through a glass of wine. That's your impulsive brain, right? It's like, nah, I'm doing it, and I've already had it. I've already the amount of times I did that. Oh, I've already had it. Like it's done. That's your impulsive brain. And what we want to do is we want to switch brains to more reflective. And the reflective side of it is that beautiful analytical ability for you to connect back to yourself. And that's what I'm really talking to you about. And the way to do that is by what I call the power of the pause. It's a threshold to get you from impulsive brain switching over to your reflective brain. And the power of the pause is just that. It's about pausing and not taking action, resisting the temptation to take action. It's like delaying it, saying, I will have that glass of wine, but I'm just going to quickly go and hang out the washing. And during that time, you will either switch your brain to the reflective brain and say, yeah, do you know what? I actually don't really want that because it's not leading me to where I want to go. I don't want to feel hungover in any way tomorrow. I actually want to be productive tonight. There's a few things I want to get done. So, I'm just actually going to have a soda, lime and bitters instead. That's actually what I'm okay with that. That feels all right. That's good, right? Massive win, by the way. That's huge. Or your reflective brain might say, yeah, I've had 5-10 minutes and yeah, going to have that wine. Yeah, I'm going to have that wine. Massive win still, because you've given yourself the pause. What usually happens is that's a muscle that we're exercising, and it's getting stronger and stronger. The more we do that, the more we can be reflective and make decisions in line with, it may be that, you still don't want to have the wine ultimately, but that is a muscle that you want to be strengthening so that you can start to make reflective decisions more frequently than reactive decisions more frequently. So it's called the power of the pause, and it's just about inserting a pause into that, here I am reaching for the bottle of wine, or here I am about to respond to that aggressive email or something. I'm sure you're probably very familiar with, being reactive in things. That's not the place that we want to respond from. We want to respond from a place of reflection, a bit more consideration. And the way to do that is by inserting the pause to then enable your brain to switch into this reflective mind. So power of the pause, people, is where it's at. And this is the first step. This is the first step in the overall goal attainment, is by developing and strengthening this ability to be self-aware. So hopefully you are able to go and do exercises with this. If you run into anything, type in some questions, contact me, and I'll be able to give you sort of specific responses. But I hope you enjoyed that. Thank you again for being with me. And I look forward to seeing you same time next week. Have a beautiful week. See you then. Bye.